Hey, Papa here. Why am I sitting out in the sun and letting the sun shine on me? Because we rarely get gorgeous, beautiful, sunny days, and we've had 4 in a row. I'm so happy. I'm soaking up vitamin D. I want to get scurvy, or whatever it is. Anyway, we've talked about the 4 important minerals in Georgia's rocks, the most important 4 minerals in Georgia's rocks, and the rocks of the eastern U.S. That would be, what? Help me name them. Quartz, right? Glassy quartz, flashy feldspar because of that flat, flashy face, mirror muscovite, and black biotite. I just want to follow up and talk about these 4 minerals again and talk about some of the things they're used for, even though we've done some of that. Quartz, of course, is silicon dioxide, and silicon is used for a tremendous number of things. It's used in the production of cement, which is paving our cities over, but it's a very important product in there. Also, it's used in the production of glass, all kinds of types of glass. But the most important thing that silicon is used for these days is, you guessed it, the computers, electronics industry. Silicon has revolutionized the electronics industry because you can take silicon, and it's a semiconductor, which means it can be made to conduct electricity sometimes and to not conduct electricity sometimes. But they make it into these special transistors, and these transistors, called MOSFET transistors, that's an acronym, are the most produced items on the planet. There are more MOSFET transistors produced than any other object on planet Earth, and every electronic device has a lot of these MOSFETs in it, so that's a huge, important use of silicon. So, and we talked about feldspar, which has silicon and oxygen. It also has potassium and aluminum. Some feldspars can have sodium, and some feldspars can have calcium. We talked about how feldspar ends up down along the fall line as kaolin, and that kaolin clay is used for fine chinas and dishes and a host of other products, like your toilet and other ceramic products. But it's also used to it's going to come to me in a minute. It's also used as a filler in slick paper. You know, the slick paper of magazines. That's kaolin that makes that slick surface. So that's a huge product, a huge market for kaolin. I understand that the kaolin, Georgia's the #1 producer in the United States, but that's changing because kaolin from other countries is becoming cheaper, and they say eventually that foreign kaolin will replace Georgia's kaolin industry. I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, how about muscovite? We talked about muscovite in the thin sheets, mirror muscovite. Muscovite, in the old days, was dug out of the ground, which muscovite comes from these pegmatite bodies of granite. Pegmatite means big crystals. Muscovite was cut up into squares and rectangles in thin sheets and used, they call it isinglass, and it was used for all kinds of glass type, like in lantern glass, which is subject to being broken. And of course, the muscovite doesn't break as easily as glass. And today we talked about how today it's used in automobile. They crush it up powder and put it in automobile paints. They also put it in ladies' makeup. But another important use that I didn't mention is as an insulator, and again, the electronics industry. It has outstanding insulative qualities, and it also has outstanding what they call dielectric qualities. I don't understand that, but that's just another evidence of how useful it is, muscovite is, in the electronics industry. And finally, black biotite. There are not a whole lot of uses for black biotite that I know of, but you're going to find later on it is a super important mineral when it comes to understanding the different rock types that we find on land versus in the ocean, and the changes in those rock types that occur from the continental crashing and smashing. Those changes are called metamorphism. So that's the info on these 4 minerals. We'll keep going. Hope you're having fun. Papa out.